Hey guys,
Hello.
we are alive
Yeah.
and well. We wanted to pop in for a possibly long video, but we don't want to break it up because the past 7 weeks have been rough, but God has been good. And we didn't vlog much during the last 4 weeks of those 7 weeks. Because it was just too overwhelming and we needed the rest. But now making this video of what happened in hindsight?
In hindsight.
In hindsight is just so encouraging, and we want to share with you how we can see the thread of God's faithfulness through all that has happened. So here we go.
Alrighty.
Where do we start? we
From the beginning.
We took some notes to be sure we don't forget any details of God's faithfulness. So sometimes we're gonna go into like excessively small details, and sometimes we're just gonna skip over a whole week. So let's begin 7 weeks ago. That's when the pain started, I guess. April. It was Tuesday, April 27. No. April 6th.
April 6th, yes, near the beginning of the month.
Yeah. And so that's almost 7 weeks ago, Tuesday, April 6th. I woke up with a medium to big kink in my neck, and I often get kinks in my neck. That one was bigger because it went down into my shoulder and arm. It has happened once before. So that's a little bit bigger than the kinks I usually get. And, well, we discovered later on that they're not just kinks, but we'll tell you more about this. But I do get those often, and I always thought they were just kinks. Like, how often? Every 2 months.
Yeah, around about there.
I'm pretty sure we talked about this on the vlog. Or we may not have put that clip in. I do not know what we've put in anymore. It's been a long, hazy few weeks, but I get them often. And so I woke up and I was like, well, it's no big deal. It hurts a lot, but I went through the day, and we even have a clip of that week that I know it's been posted of me with the magic bag around my neck, and I'm taking down the curtains, which we put down in the bathroom here. So like, it didn't stop me from doing anything. And so it was pretty bad. Like, I couldn't turn my head, like, normal kink. And then it got better after about a week and a half. And then I had a few, maybe 1 or 2 good days. And then it came back for another week and a half. And then it got better. And then I had maybe 1 or 2 good days. And then it came back. But then it was just not going anywhere.
No, it was increasing quite a bit.
At that point, it was like, boom, I'm here to stay, kind of kink in the neck.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like the third wave of it after 3 weeks. And that would have brought us to Tuesday, April 27th.
Yeah.
And that's in the night.
Well, middle of the night, probably around close to 2 a.m. or something like that.
I woke up and I could not go back to sleep.
No.
I was agonizing, like, could not stop crying and screaming in pain. So we're like, what do we do?
Well, yeah, I mean, we both were up. I got up and I came and prayed, and but we knew that some major steps were needed to. Well, we needed to take some major steps.
Yeah. So the thing is, though, I had made an appointment with my doctor for the Saturday. And so I had called that day, and the earliest you could see me was Saturday. So I was planning on going to the ER the next day because it was really becoming excruciating, and I couldn't tolerate it. I couldn't wait till the Saturday to get some help. But then I was gonna go to the ER in the morning because nighttime, I mean, there's only one doctor and they can't do much. But then I woke up in the middle of the night and I was just in so much agony that we're like, I gotta go now. So I went to the ER, spent the night there. in the waiting room. At least they were nice. You know, they gave me a pillow.
Yeah.
Some warm blanket to put around my neck. It was just not much they could do.
Well, yeah, and meanwhile, I had some really, really huge heart-to-heart talks with God during the night while you were in the hospital.
Yeah. And I felt bad that you had to stay here alone because of COVID. He could not be there.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So yeah, I spent the night. In the morning I saw the doctor, and basically she said, well, like, you should have treated that kink in your neck 3 weeks ago when it started. You should have, like, right away hit it with Advil and Tylenol. But I mean, I'm so used to having it that I just knew it would pass, but that time it didn't. So I was a bit annoyed that she was mad at me for not taking Advil. Like, seriously, like, can you do something now to help?
Oh, yeah.
So she's like, well, you know, you probably just have like a cervical sprain. Give yourself a week and take some naproxen, and here's a muscle relaxant, and you'll be fine. So I came home that morning, and I was still in just as much pain with the medication that she had given me. But I went through the day and tried to rest because I hadn't slept that night at all.
Right.
Like maybe 2 hours. I was exhausted and I was trying to sleep, but even the meds were not helping me to sleep. We're just very grateful for like people who already started praying a few days before that, and a lot of people were praying, and then someone brought us some food that day, and it was just good to see people caring for us in our very big time of need.
Yeah, seeing the body of Christ at work.
Yeah. So then that night we went to bed hoping that I would be able to sleep with the meds, but then I woke up around midnight.
So around the same time.
Around midnight. It was a bit earlier. I think
earlier.
I only
Maybe
slept
a bit earlier, yeah.
Because we went to bed early, and then I woke up around midnight. And then same thing. Just nights are worse, it seems, and could not stop moaning in pain and screaming and crying. And at that point, Randy and I were like, I already went to the ER. What else can we do? I went last night and they didn't help me. So we were so desperate. And we pleaded with God in the middle of the night. And I said, God, you gotta do something because I'm gonna give in to Satan, and I'm either you give me some relief or I kill myself. Like, there's just nothing. I cannot humanly handle this pain anymore. It's just been so long. That was a conversation that we had with God at that point. And then we said, okay, well, the only option is to go back to the ER. Like, I can't stay here. So I went back to the ER. And then that time they took me in really quickly. As I arrived, they did not send me back to the waiting room. They just took me back. They took me in the back. Not like admitting, but what is it? Behind, like in a little room in the ER.
Right.
They wheeled me in there and like gave me a stretcher. And then that's when, what was that? Oh, it was the door. Okay. It was a big flash. Squirrel. I'm not sure which came first. The sweet nurse? It's such a haze, but there's two things that happened there at that point. Let's go with the sweet nurse. I'm going to explain why we call her the sweet nurse. Is because when we went to
Windsor,
a different emergency in Windsor, Quebec, for Randy, it wasn't really for an emergency, but it's because he doesn't have a family doctor. So we go to this like minor emergency, and they see you within the same morning. You go like super early and they see you. So she used to be the triage nurse there, and she's just so sweet. So she's super easy to recognize with her tattoos all over her arms and her big earrings, and she's just so sweet. So it was her both times we went to the ER for Randy. And now that ER has closed for now, probably because of COVID. And she's been transferred to that ER here in Sherbrooke. So she stepped into my little room and she's like, "Oh, hi, I'm your nurse for the night." And I looked at her and I was thankful, confused, like, what are you doing here? And why am I so blessed to have you right now? So anyway, so we're just gonna call her the sweet nurse. I guess she helped me put on my gown because with one arm I had a hard time. And then she went out, and then I heard some of the other staff just outside my room talk and discuss whether or not I was faking it, the pain. And I was like, are they seriously not gonna take me seriously? Because I'm like screaming, I can't stop, I'm exhausted, my body is shaking, and I can't handle it anymore. And so when the sweet nurse came back in, I was like, oh, I have the sweet nurse, I gotta talk to her.
Yeah.
I looked at her and I pleaded with her. I said, will you guys take me seriously? Because I'm not here for drugs. And I was like, I'm exhausted. I haven't been sleeping for like 2-3 nights. I don't remember. And she looked at me and she said, yeah, we're gonna take you seriously. And then at that time I just had like the peace of God wash over me, like, okay, I'm in good hands here.
Yeah, God definitely answers prayer, because I know.
Yes.
I know the second night too, I was definitely.
You were up even longer, I think, eh?
Yeah, had some really heart-to-heart talks with God as well too. So God definitely hears our cries, and as well there were, as you already have mentioned, to many others that were praying. Yeah,
definitely. And so I didn't stay very long in the ER that night because it took me in so quickly. Within 2 hours, I believe I was back home. They gave me some morphine, which finally gave me some relief. Like, it cut the pain definitely in half. No kidding. And so they're like, well, now that you have some relief, which they were kind of wondering why the night before I was sent home without being relieved, and they just sent me back home. So this time at least they waited at least for me to feel better before sending me home. And yeah, so they're like, that now, like, the pharmacy opens tomorrow, so we're gonna give you a little bit of morphine to carry you till the morning, and then you can rest at home. You'll rest much better, which is true. So I was happy to come home. Sunshine. Yeah. I was happy that I came home.
Yep.
So then we were able to sleep pretty good the rest of the night with the medication. And then I took it for a few days and then saw my doctor that Saturday. Oh, I forgot to write that in the notes. Yeah, so then that's when he prescribed an MRI. I forgot to write that. Did I forget anything else? Yeah. So he prescribed an MRI. I knew that I would have to wait about a month before I would have my appointment, and so I would only see him after that. So that began the long journey to recovery. So I've been doing physio, I've seen the chiropractor, ice, sling, exercises, a little thing that stretches my neck to remove tension on it or decompress the vertebrae, and a lot of prayers from the people are part of my recovery.
Yeah. Prayers, and people also, bringing food and
giving
helping
rides
in other tangible ways. Yeah, rides.
Giving rides and stuff.
Yeah.
Because when I was still taking morphine, I couldn't drive, so it was very appreciated when people could give me rides to my appointments.
I'm very thankful too with the organization I'm working with, that my supervisor and most people that were like my boss or bosses, they said, hey, we understand you can't, work your duties right now. So they said, just look after your wife, and they have just been very understanding in that, which I'm very, very thankful for.
Yeah. Randy helped me for a couple of days to bathe because I couldn't even do that on my own. Like, if we had had a shower, maybe I would have been fine, but because we only have baths, leaning back and rinsing my head, I couldn't do it. But there's a little shower head, so he would get me wet, I'd wash myself, and then he would rinse me off.
Yeah.
Very grateful for you.
Yeah, and I'm very thankful for you.
Right, so then when some friends heard that I was waiting for an MRI, and that it would take up to a month for it to happen, I still can't believe this. They called me the next day and they said, we're gonna pay for you to go to a private clinic. And I was like, are you serious? Like, it's $700. So I started making a bunch of phone calls to clinics and to my doctor to send a prescription, and all the, like, that whole day I just spent on the phone trying to figure out where I would have my MRI and how to get the prescription there and everything. So within the same week, I had my MRI done, and we had someone drive us to Trois-Rivières, because at first I was going to drive myself, and that person was like, you are not driving 2 hours with a sore arm and then driving 2 hours back. So she was really nice to drive us both there and back, and we were able to see my parents maybe 5-10 minutes
About that, yeah.
in the parking lot. So that was good too. And I really don't want to forget anything. That's why I keep looking at my notes, because you can just see the thread of God's faithfulness. So yeah, okay, so that was MRI day. At this point, we had been considering stepping down from managing the motel, just because it's just a stressful job, and for one person, it's not a one-person job. So, but the thing is, we didn't want to make a decision while we were in this fog. We're like, maybe let's wait till we have MRI results to make a decision, see how well it heals, or, you know, we didn't have a deadline of when we make a decision. But we're like, let's get out a little bit of this confusion and then make a decision. So, the thing is, however, that very night when I came back from the MRI, things became excessively stressful at the motel for almost a week. So within that same week, we just saw clearly that God was calling us somewhere else, and my bosses were very supportive of the decision. So we know that it was time to make the decision, even though we had said we wouldn't make the decision during the fog, but it was just, with everything that happened, it just became so clear, and my bosses being understanding of it also made it clear to us. It was time to go. So then that began another journey. So there's the journey to healing and recovery, and then that began the journey to finding an apartment and a manager. Not a simple task, but I remember telling you about the apartment. It seems impossible because we have so many needs, but it's not impossible to God.
Yeah. Oh, that's
now,
for sure.
I believed, and I know that it's not impossible to God, but I was like, but is he gonna do it? I don't know. I don't know. So I was like, well, we'll see. I mean, he's been like so faithful through this whole thing so far. I don't think he's just gonna let us down at this point.
Right.
He's made it clear that we should move, so. And there was so many needs. Like, we didn't want to go again on the 3rd floor. We wanted to stay in the same area of town. Yeah. It's more expensive in this area of town, so we had to look at several places. And then everywhere that we called, they either never called us back, or they're like, oh yeah, it's already taken, sorry. And it got us really mad. We're like, well, take down your ad if it's taken already.
Yeah.
So we kind of just like quit for a day or two
Yeah.
looking for apartments. Like, okay, like there's nothing right now. We'll just wait for a day or two until stuff comes up again, like new ads and stuff on the internet. But then as we stopped looking for an apartment, then both pieces of the puzzle came together. The manager piece and the apartment piece.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, we can't make this up. You're not gonna believe this. This is how it all happened. God found us an apartment and God found us a manager.
Yeah.
So basically, the couple who will move in here to become managers, their apartment is becoming available and we're moving into their apartment.
Yep.
You heard me right.
Yeah, God looks after the big details, the small, and all that fall in be a tween.
Yes,
Yeah.
God did it again, guys. So this past week we've been cleaning and packing with one sore arm, and then we had our vaccine, so then we had 3 sore arms out of 4. But they're getting better.
Yeah. I guess it brings me to that verse, walk by faith and not by sight, because by our own sight we can only see so far, but God sees a whole lot further. So
yeah, and not just that we can't see very far, but we see with human eyes.
yeah.
So we just we don't really see well.
No.
So we're moving next weekend.
Yep.
It just all happened so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Hence why we haven't been vlogging. It's been so overwhelming, but so good at the same time.
Well, yeah, like we can't stop saying thank you enough to all the people that have been praying for us, been supporting us.
Yes.
With food, with rides, with just words of encouragement, and just being there just for us to let go of some of that stress, just being an opening ear. And it's just really amazing when you see the body of Christ truly at work. It shows just how powerful God's love truly is.
And we just can't help, we can't keep silent about how faithful God has been through it all and how good He's been.
Mm-hmm.
It's been rough, but God's been good.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
so what's next? We're moving next week, as we've mentioned. I've had my MRI results by now, and the chiropractor has explained them to me. All I can really say is there's a progression in the hernia from the MRI I had in 2016. We could see a small hernia. Now it's like the discs are compensating and they got worse. That's all I really understand, like all the terminology I don't understand. So there's a progression. I am seeing my doctor tomorrow. So tomorrow is May 24th, and we'll just come up with a game plan. He'll look at the results himself and see what we do, see what kind of treatment I need. And I have he's probably going to give me referrals to a neurologist.
Yeah.
And
I guess a chiropractor
tests.
and a physio give you some.
They're asking for referrals.
They're asking for referrals. Yeah.
So we'll keep you posted on that. What's next? And as far as the pain, it's so much better. I mean, it's still there 24/7 in this area. My neck turns and stuff, but it's more the shoulder part and the shoulder blade that are hurting. That's why I have the ice right on there, and it's 24/7. But I mean, it is bearable without medication. I do not need to take any medication. I put some menthol cream, which Sunshine doesn't like the smell of. You're like, oh, I can smell your cream. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
So I'm able to work. I'm back at work at the motel. I'm doing less hours because we are transitioning out.
Yeah.
But I haven't been able to do my other job at the computer, like the home inspection work.
Right.
Because that's computer work, so I haven't returned to that yet. And so the plan as far as work is concerned is to, after we move, to train the next managers, and then once my shoulder is okay to handle the mouse of the computer and typing, to go back full-time to working from home with the house inspection company. So that's the plan.
And for myself, I know my supervisor from the organization that I'm working with, he said, yeah, just wait till June. And he says, like, once we get settled into our new place, then, I'll have another meeting with him and then, get back to the routine of the work that I'm doing. So
we have understanding bosses
Yeah.
on like all the jobs that we have.
Yeah, which is truly something we don't want to take lightly.
Yeah, it's a huge blessing.
Yeah, we don't want to take that for granted.
Yeah. Wow, we did this in 26 minutes, sunshine. I thought it would take 3 hours. But it's just so good. We really wanted to make one video to see the thread of God's faithfulness. That was the idea here. And so thank you again for all your prayers, all your support, and ultimately praise God.
Definitely. And if I could sum it up in one Bible verse, it'd be the one that I go back to a lot of times. It's Proverbs 3, 5, and 6.
Oh, I knew it.
Which says, "Trust in the Lord with all of your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will make your path straight." And
we have seen that.
We truly have seen that. So it's just an encouragement to all of you, that maybe going through a similar trial or whatever trials may be going through, just to know that God is there. He has not abandoned you, and as long as you put your full trust in Him and lean on Him, He is strong enough, and He will see you through.
He will, because He's faithful.
Yeah.
His promises are still true.
Yeah.
Even in the fire, He'll walk with us. We haven't vlogged in so long that I don't remember how we usually end.
Remember.
Well, it's see you guys next week. Well, we're not gonna make any promises. See you guys who knows when. Yeah. Because we're moving. We'll try to take you along, give you a tour, but we also want to give you an update on the doctor's appointment and all that.
Definitely.
So see you guys soon.
Yeah.
And until then,
remember to laugh hard
and to love much.
Oui.